Dear Dallas Valuations are delighted to welcome you to another article from the experts. After the record-breaking auctions of 2022, 2023 was tough, but thankfully not a disastrous year for the art market. In this episode, modern and contemporary art specialist Ben Hanley takes us through the numbers.
2023 in the art market has been a year of readjustment and realignment, but thankfully not collapse. A market correction rather than the much talked about free fall of the market. 2022 ended on a fever pitch high with a slew of blockbuster auctions and record-breaking sales. The Macklowe Collection brought in $922 million at Sotheby's, and the Anne Bass Collection achieved $383 million at Christie's, whilst the Paul Allen Collection achieved just over $1.6 billion also at Christie's, taking the honour of being the first sale to top the billion-dollar mark. Yet even as these records were being made, savvy pundits predicted a gloomier future for 2023, which turned out to be true. Surprisingly, it was the top end of the market, with its superior quality and strong provenance, which failed to deliver the goods in 2023. It was badly hit in comparison to 2022, generating little more than half the sales value compared to the previous year. In 2023, the most expensive artworks at auction paled in comparison to the previous year. The top 100 lots at auction this year totaled $2.4 billion compared to $4.1 billion in 2022. Why is this? Experts cite high interest rates, continued inflation, and the ongoing turbulence in the financial markets as the reasons for the dip. But economic jitters aren't the only factor at play. The continuing war in the Ukraine continues to negatively affect the global economy, as no doubt the current Israeli-Palestinian war will do. Added to this, the post-pandemic exuberance of spending that fueled the market in late 2021 and 22 has certainly leveled off. Across every category in the market, sales contracted in 2023, but some were hit harder than others. All these factors has had a negative effect on the market, spooking all but the most motivated seller from consigning their treasures to an increasingly unpredictable and volatile market. Just like the property market, why would you sell in a falling market? As a result, the number of works coming to auction hit a 3-year low in the year's first 5 months, and the contraction is most extreme at the high end. The May marquee auctions of modern contemporary art in New York were noticeably underwhelming. The 3 main auction houses grossed an aggregate of $1.4 billion with fees, which was significantly lower than the $2.5 billion achieved the previous May. Similarly, the hitherto super-hot, speculative-led market for ultra-contemporary young artists also cooled down dramatically, with demand being far more measured than in 2022. In May of that year in New York, Sotheby's The Now sale of 23 recent works by coveted, hard-to-source artists had been a bidding frenzy that achieved $72.9 million. In stark contrast to this, just over a year later in June 2023, Sotheby's version of the New York sale achieved only £8.7 million, which was $11 million. This market has been characterized by heavy speculation and flipping by collectors keen to turn a quick and often significant profit on untested newcomers to the secondary market. However, market jitters have calmed this market down noticeably, with less activity from flippers producing less demand and lower prices. Of all the areas in the art market, the impressionist and modern sector saw the biggest decline, with sales plummeting by 30%. The post-war and contemporary category had a similar dip, but slightly smaller at 23%. Ultra-contemporary art, once the fastest-growing category, took a tumble as the hype surrounding the market for young artists began to dissolve. It shrank by 26% over the year. The most stable category surprisingly turned out to be the old master market, whose revenue declined by a comparatively modest 6% over the year. Each of the 3 big auction houses saw their sales figures contract in 2023. Christie's narrowly beat Sotheby's in the race for the top spot, generating $8.9 million more in fine art sales by mid-2023. Both houses saw revenue decline in the first 5 months of the year compared with the equivalent period in 2022. Christie's was down 23%, while Sotheby's was down 20%. Hardest hit was Phillips, which reported $255 million in art sales, a 29% dip over the year, after reaching a record high in 2022. In terms of the geographical split of the art market, the top 3 players remained the same. The US reconfirmed its preeminence in this regard, albeit with sales down by 25% from the equivalent period in 2021. China similarly reconfirmed its sales as the second largest market, but in contrast to the US, its total sales spiked by more than 110% during the same period. This increase illustrates the continuing strength of the Chinese collector market, but it also reflects a statistical anomaly whereby several Chinese auction houses, including Poly International and Yongle Auctions, postponed their 2022 autumn sales to early 2023 in order to comply with government lockdowns, boosting the country's spring results. The UK market experienced a decline in sales of 27% but still held third place in the global art market. The impact of Brexit and the increase in overall logistical and importation cost still continues to affect the profitability of Britain's historic art market. During the pandemic and the associated lockdowns, online and digital sales increased out of necessity and market survival and drove global art sales for this period. Now that in-person auctions have fully returned, online fine art sales are hitting a plateau, but they still remain at a far higher level than they were pre-pandemic. A total of $155.8 million worth of fine art was sold online at Sotheby's, Christie's, Bonhams, Phillips and ArtNet auctions in the first 5 months of the year. That's down 5% from the equivalent period in 2022 and down 64% from 2021, when many high-profile sales had not returned to being held in person. The 2023 total remains more than 300% higher, however, than 2019, when online sales generated only $35.5 million in the year's first 5 months. What has changed is the comfort level of collectors to purchase via online routes. The average price in 2023 for an online purchase has dropped to just under $17,800, which is far lower than in 2019. In conclusion, while certainly not a bullish year, 2023 has still proved to be a strong market with no collapse foreseen in the near future. Bearing in mind the overall global uncertainties and the fact that purchasing art is not a survival purchase, this is no mean feat.
Thank you for listening. You can read this article and many more at darevaluations.co.uk. Search for Dare Dallas to find us on Instagram and LinkedIn, where our team will keep you updated on market trends and our valuation service. For more details on our valuation service, please call us on 01883 722 736 or email inquiries@darevaluations.co.uk.